Hey YouTube, this is Southern Purple One and welcome to Boots on the Ground. The last story I ended with yesterday was about the farmer that got help and the community coming together. I got a lot of reports back that touched a lot of people's hearts. It definitely touched my heart, and that's the America I want to give back to. But it's going to take effort to do that. It's going to take a lot of sacrifice. But you know what? The American dream, the American soul is still alive in many people, and I think we can get there. It's just going to take a lot of work. But let's get right back to Boots on the Ground. This person lives in Hudson Valley, New York. 20-foot crack appeared in the main water line, so we were told abruptly to have a boil water only, not to even wash dishes with the tap water until they got the repair done. And they also set up emergency water stations so people could get clean water. The pipe has been repaired, but we are on day 6 of the boil water advisor, and this will be until further notice. Luckily for me, I had 30 gallons of clean emergency water put back, and I was able to buy a few more gallons at the store. My friend who lives out west told me that this is happening all over the country with the old iron pipes. We're still in early fall here in New York, so the super cold temperatures haven't even set in yet. This is going to be a rough winter. They also brought up the landlords and more particularly slumlords. Landlords are not all bad, but some are terrible. And what they have now is people can't really complain because you can't threaten to move out of the apartment because there's no apartment to go to. And the landlord knows that. So there's a fine line of being a good landlord and being a bad landlord. But a lot of people prey on other people that have to rent. The Mississippi barge traffic is drastically reduced due to the drought. The water level is half what is normal in New Orleans area. Farmers are using large tarps to cover giant piles of grain and soybeans on the ground. There's talk of closing barge traffic from Minneapolis, Minnesota to Quincy, Illinois if the water level gets lower. One barge moves the equivalent of 134 semi-trucks. This person from Metro Atlanta, December, they're going to be closing 2 of the Kroger stores there. I don't know why. One has been open for 27 years. The other one has been open for 47 years. As you know, inflation is killing the American people. To buy a home now, you're looking at close to 6.92% for a 30-year mortgage. That which is 3.05% higher than last year. Also, dairy is up about 16%. Chicken's up 17%. Coffee's up. Eggs are whopping 37% higher than a year ago. Electric bill. This person's electric bill has gone sky high. This winter is going to be brutal here, as we're expecting a good snowpack this winter. I think they're in the Washington state area. This person said, I'm a third-generation worker in the paving and grading industry in western North Carolina. It was started by my grandfather. It is no surprise that oil-based products are higher in price. Asphalt, tar, sealer, crack filler, etc. We can't change the past. But we have received letters from 2 of the larger stone crushers and producers in the southeast. They have crushers located in most towns, Vulcan Material and Martin Marietta. Despite increasing prices already this year, they have sent out new letters of a $2 a ton increase in crush and run and $2.50 to $3 a ton increase in clean washed stone products. If someone needs gravel or products that have stone in them, they should stock up now. A few loads of clean stone crushed up will last for decades and can be handy when you need a wheelbarrow at a time to fix a pothole, put it on a foundation, or get you out of the mud. This person wrote in, my son is a mechanic with a wife and 3 kids, 5 and under. He was last to be hired, and he'll be first to let go if things get worse. I started to buy cases of food and other items from the Dollar Tree. I'm storing them in a spare bedroom and also have a shelving unit in my spare bathtub, full of cans and dry goods bought at a low price. I also have my pantry full. I live in an over 55 park, and my home is only 800 square feet. It's amazing how much room you can, or how much food you can squirrel away. By this way, my son thinks I'm paranoid, but I have my 3 grandkids to think about who will need this food. I'm going to do a video on that, addressing family members that think you're crazy. I want to encourage you not to let them get to you. This person wants just to say you need to increase your security. They say a normal glass door or glass window will not stop anyone from getting in your house. It will take them mere seconds. So increase your security. If you can change your doors, change locks, do whatever you can. If you can't do that, maybe you can build a safe room inside your house. So take an inner door, a pantry, and reinforce that door. Do something because as times get more desperate, more and more people will resort to crime. I came across an article. It was about an ER in Washington State, and they actually called 911 because the ER was so critically short-staffed they needed help. So firefighters were sent to help with moving patients, cleaning rooms, taking vital signs, and etc. This is just another example of our healthcare system spiraling into failure. This person says, I live in eastern Long Island, New York. Diesel fuel went up $1, so it is now standing at $6.09, and that dollar was in one day. This person was shopping for food, and I was surprised at the increase in prices on almost everything we buy on a regular basis. And that's going to continue. The dollar is going down, and that just means food will go up and everything else will go up with it. I live in a rural part of West Virginia and work in a nearby town at a fab shop. We manufacture road dump trucks, flatbeds, and various other parts associated with the trucking and construction industry. We recently sent out a Kenworth with an aluminum dump bed on it. The order had been placed 6 months ago, and in just the 6 months, the cost of the vehicle has gone up $60,000. This is due to the material cost rising, and we're still suffering the effects of the supply chain issues caused by the lockdown. Things that used to be 3 weeks out or more or less, now they're 3 to 4 months out. For our guys in charge of ordering material, it is a constant struggle trying to find out what we need and to get it. They have to check different sources and different suppliers. I also should mention that pre-2020, we had over 40 people working on the production floor. We are now down to fewer than 10. And to my knowledge, we have no prospects of getting new people at this point. We don't even need welders. We need guys who can show up on time and run various simple equipment such as drills and bandsaws, entry-level stuff, but they're just not out there. He also said, though, good news. There is a big boom in the white-tailed deer population in my area this year, which is good because he's a hunter and he says he needs this food to stock his freezer. So a lot of people don't like hunting deer, but it is going to become a necessity part of life. I'm a single Texas woman and have made no changes or claims in my auto insurance, but when I got my bill the other day, I was shocked. My previous bill had been $184. Now it is $256. That's about a 40% increase. My income has definitely not increased that much. I did an experiment starting last month and turned my water heater off. I turned it on one time a day for 30 minutes before I took a bath, and I reduced my electrical bill 25%. This month I had my exterior walls filled with retrofoam. It was expensive, but I can sure tell the difference. My air conditioner was only turned on 5 times in 10 days so far, and I live in northwest Oklahoma. Can't wait to get the next electric bill and see how much difference that's going to make. Yes, if you got a draft anywhere in your house, look at that. Try to correct any drafts that you feel. It will save you money in the long run. This is South Dakota, eastern South Dakota. Products are here, but high price. They also said, I went to the lumber yard, 3-inch diameter PVC pipe, 10-foot long length, $54. PVC pipe has gone astronomically. It is unbelievable. They also had to buy a differential bearing kit for a 2012 F-150. 2 years ago, the kit like this would be about $250 to $300. Yesterday, it was, cost was $382. The list price was $525. Our farmers had a decent crop, but not great. We have still got a problem of getting car parts. This person's in Massachusetts. I've not seen much on the food shortages, which is around in other parts of the country, but food is averaging 50% higher than just a few months back. Gas went to a low of $3.29 for regular and then jumped in the past 2 weeks to $3.69. This is astonishing. I own a small car dealership. We sell $35 a month for 25 years. Since January, been cut in half. July, we only sold 3 cars. Worst month in our history. People are panicked to spend money. Insurance is not as easy to get like prior. New customers will have it in a half an hour. Now have to jump through hoops. It takes days when the company takes you. They also says the produce is terrible. It lasts about 2 days and then it's rotted. New England has the lowest corn yield in its history this year also. I live in northern Arkansas. My local Dollar General recently remodeled and no longer is selling clothing items. The health food store nearby, the prices are increasing weekly on their herbal supplements. Neighbors are talking more about harvesting wild plants for their medicine. More people around me are not able to find jobs that do not require the jab. The medicinal herbs, yes, they're going to make a comeback. When things totally crash, it's the people that know how to take herbs that God put on this earth and heal people and help people. This is Middle Tennessee. Thought I would take my lunch instead of fast food to save some money. A bologna sandwich used to be a cheap lunch. LOL. I guess it will be peanut butter and jelly. They sent me a picture of their store and they have Oscar Mayer bologna, 1 pound, $7. If you've probably all heard about the Alaskan officials have canceled the crab harvest because they're saying the amount of crabs out there is just collapsed too low. I think it's the Red King crab harvest. I think they also talk about the winter harvest of snow crabs. So this is terrible. If you are a fisherman or a crabber and you were just told, hey, you cannot harvest anything, it is detrimental to people. They have payments probably on their boats. Detrimental. I live in a rural town in Texas-Oklahoma border. I love to plant flowers. Our local Walmart has mums, but no pansies. I also visited Tractor Supply in search of pansies and told they do not have any of them for this year. They only have mums. I find that crazy. Pansies, don't know the reason, but everything is in short supply. For what I can see, prices did not increase from last year on some low-price canned items like vegetables. But regarding canned meats, prices are up 30 to 50% from last year on average. And I would say that grocery prices overall are up 30 to 50% from last year. And I would agree with that. This is a report from the Philippines. So I always find these interesting. Meat prices are still lower than the West. Beef brisket is around $10 for a kilo, and I think a kilo is 2.2 pounds. And ground pork at the butcher shop is less than $4 a kilo, so that's not bad. Sugar has doubled since the beginning of the year. Coke has all switched to the diet flavors because of the sugar shortage. 2 weeks ago, we went to the East Coast, and the fish market there was half the price of the Manila fish market. A 2-hour drive and you double the price. The exchange rate keeps jumping near 60 to the dollar. It has never been this bad rates before, but oddly the imported good prices have not caught up up in the price with that. Europe butter is not super popular, but with the inflation jump, French gourmet butter is cheaper than the ordinary New Zealand butter. It goes on and on. A lot of new construction out in the mountains, but he was saying it's not pleasant to drive anymore. The traffic is getting bad, and he also says locals are definitely more rude driving now since the lockdown. Total disregard for human life or any courtesies. Never mind any sort of traffic rules. Driving the wrong side of the road is so common. It's barely, it's everywhere. So people are more rude. They're more rude in the United States. And they're showing up and being rude. This lockdown really has affected people. Also, they mentioned that squatters are getting worse. They're invading some subdivisions now. This person is in the New Orleans area and just buying sausage. The sausage was the Tennessee Pride patties, spoiled. A lot of reports of food just going bad so quickly. So I don't know if it's not being refrigerated properly, if it's being thawed out and refrozen. They also want to say that the small town in eastern Tennessee, there's a small emergency room that is run by a big hospital in Chattanooga. The last 2 times I've been there, once to check on a friend who had an emergency and another time for my husband's blood test, there was a gurney in the waiting room with an IV bag visible behind the curtain. And I heard a lady with her grandchildren say they have been waiting nearly 8 hours to get her grandson in for stitches on his hand. Apparently, they're really full up. This person says, my husband works for the Associated Wholesale Grocers and I won't tell you where, but he works for the Associated Wholesale Grocers. Since COVID, the quality of employees have diminished rapidly. We have a high turnover rate, averaging 15 temporary employees quitting every week while rehiring the same number. We are unable to maintain the workforce, which is draining the full-time union employees who are having to pick up the slack. Also, no sense of urgency from employees. They're just very low productive. Things are not happening fast. People do not have a work ethic. He's worried we're not going to have enough for the next generation of workers to distribute food to the stores. Also, they're flipping their work schedule from second shift to days to try to entice employees to stay on. This person said, I had a tooth problem on Thursday. The woman in a waiting room was trying to work out payment arrangement with the staff. She was using 4 different credit cards from friends and relatives. I guess they were all trying to chip in to put a few $100s on each card. One of the cards was declined. Another older couple was inquiring about care credit, as I guess they didn't even have the money to pay either. This person says, we've always hunted deer and fish, but started hunting duck, goose, and squirrel this year. I've been experimenting with ways to make these meat tastier and not gamey. Figure I need to become a great cook with wild game since prices are going high at the grocery store. A word of advice: store lots of onions and learn how to use them and spices to make tasty sauces, and cook slow at a low temperature. Give wild game time to become tender. This is from Pennsylvania, South Central. The current farm cost versus what we were paying 2 years ago. Off-road diesel for the tractors were like $2 a gallon. Now it's $5.39. Hydraulic fluid, 5 gallons, was $40 per bucket. Now $65 a bucket. Oats, 100 pounds, was $17 per 100. Now it's $27. Diesel oil, $15.40. was $50 for a 5-gallon bucket. Now it's $75. Just a few examples of what farmers are going through. People need to realize input cost gets passed on to the consumer. Prepping is a good thing, but getting self-sufficient as possible is a whole lot better. I was in utter shock when I went to Costco and they were completely out of Coors, and Bud Light went from $21 to $26. Plus $1.80 for the cans. I guess they must have a deposit required. We live in a relatively safe and quiet town in Alabama. In the last 6 months, we've had several high-speed chases, all involving people from nearby towns. One ended in the wreck on my street. Last week, someone blew the horn at a driver ahead of them because they wouldn't go when the light turned green. Both cars were turning into Walmart. Inside the store, the driver confronted the guy that blew his horn at him and threatened him with a knife. The other guy pulled out a gun and shot him dead. It's becoming a scary, crazy world. This is eye-opening too, because people are suffering. I sell used items on eBay. They're more hobby-related, like photography, painting, drawing, and such. Definitely not essential items. Sales used to average $400 or $500 a month, but recently has fallen off the cliff to $50 or less. People definitely are tightening their belts and not buying unessential items these days. This is about the Thanksgiving airfare. Prices are currently averaging $281 for a round trip, and that's up 25% from last year. For Christmas travel, airfare prices are averaging $435 a trip, up 55% from last year. So definitely prices are going up, and you can see these prices going up in food, in electricity, in oil, in gas, in every service that we use. The prices are going up. I hope politicians wake up and realize the American people are suffering and we need some assistance. We need a good financial budget. We need some stability in the financial markets. And no politicians, left, right, or center, is providing leadership that the American people are asking for. We need some relief. And I pray that someone will step up and say, hey, the American people need more help than all the money we're sending. Every day I'm noticing that we're sending money overseas to every other country. It's time that Americans are taken care of. Thanks for watching.